Hi guys, this is Hiro. How's everyone doing today? आज वाला केम छो? आज सब कैसे हो? So today I'm going to be discussing, from my YouTube slash spiritual guidance experience, before YouTube and after I started YouTube, or just throughout my life, even in non-spiritual conversations. 3 tips I've noticed to increase your chance of your relationship or marriage lasting longer. Okay. I'm going to discuss these 3 points in detail. However, the 3 points are: number 1, finding someone spiritual and making sure you both have an acceptance mindset. Okay. This is a little bit, you guys probably saw this coming, but the next 2, maybe you don't. Second point, you need to treat each other's families like your own families. Okay. And the third point is the earlier the better. Okay. And I'm going to discuss what these 3 things mean right now. Okay. Obviously, the first one, you guys probably saw this one coming. Okay. So I'm not going to touch on it too long. Yeah, sure. Find someone spiritual. Make sure that, you're not just picking someone out of, what your ego wants. It's someone that also, like I said, has an acceptance mindset. Okay. We all know the scriptures, like the Vedic scriptures, they recommend marriage for spiritual growth. Why? Because you're forced to live with and accept that person till the day one of you guys goes. Okay. We all know, and you can watch from my Chakras video, that the more you accept others, the more you accept yourself. Okay. And the more you accept, everything in general, which comes from indirectly accepting others, your Kundalini rises and all this kind of stuff. So when you are exposed to someone every single day for the rest of your life, it's a little challenging. Okay. You're like sleeping next to this person and like they annoyed you all day, like all this little stuff. They're doing stupid shit around that you don't like, saying stuff to other people like you don't like the way they represent you. It's a whole bunch of things that start bothering you, years into a relationship or a marriage. Okay. But the point is, once you're getting to know that person at a level that you're not really getting to know anybody else. So you have to accept at a level that you've never accepted before. Okay. You have to just keep accepting every single day, which is why, it's recommended to actually get married spiritually so that you can go on this journey and experience this, all this accepting. Okay. But a big part of that is making sure that you have someone on board that also wants to accept just like you, and make sure that you both picked each other for the right reasons. Okay. Not just because, you guys are both good looking. Okay. Or like one of you guys has like a really nice body secretly or something, like not secretly, but that was secretly the reason why you picked them. Like that shouldn't be the reason. It should be like very fundamentally, like, I know this goes against like all music you've heard or like all movies you watch, which is why I highly recommend, if you're struggling in this area, you stop watching all movies and music and like get off social media and all this kind of stuff. But you really need to like logically like just sit and like think, like, is this person really, like, from a spiritual level, is this gonna last acceptance wise? Okay. Yeah, I know right now your ego wants something, but 15-20 years from now, when you guys are all old and shit, and like you guys have to live 50 more years all old and stuff, like, is this gonna work? Or is like, are our kids gonna be a good byproduct of this? Okay. So first thing is picking someone spiritual, ideally, that, and you guys picked each other for spiritual reasons mainly. Okay, if you guys have, are good looking, nice smiles, yeah, that's great. That's a bonus. But that like if anything is, like, I'm not gonna say anything because it is about acceptance. But the main thing should be this spiritual, interest between you two, or like what is coined as spiritual and what is coined as not. I'm not gonna try to say, but there should be some acceptance mindset, or there should be some better rational reasons of why you guys are picking each other. Okay. Second reason, you need to treat each other's family like your families. Okay. Why do I say this? Ideally, if you're a family person, like you want marriage and kids and all this kind of stuff, family is something that's very important to you. So your family growing up should have been, I'm not going to say should or shouldn't, but like probably was important to you. Okay. I noticed this. Most people who want they have a high goal of having, families themselves and strong, lasting marriages themselves. They, enjoy the company of their family and things like that, like their siblings, parents, even extended family, or like, family, friends, or friends that you've known so long and you treat like family. Okay, these are all very important to you. Now, when you get married, it's important to you guys got to be like a unit. Okay? I know the modern day is like, oh, you have your own life, they have their own life, and you guys just kind of live together, but you guys yeah, I think that's a whole bunch of nonsense, and that explains why, things are going the way they are in the modern world. Okay. You signing up for this karma of marriage, there's certain things that come with that. Okay. So if you guys need to be more unified, that's part of that. Same thing when you have a kid. Okay, you're gonna get attached to your kid, but that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to get attached to someone you're married to. Okay, let's clear that like out of the way. It's certain expectations are not healthy, but as far as like, I'll get into this in another video. But the point is, when you guys are more into each other's life, you guys become more unified, okay? Versus if you have your own family, friends, and she has her own family, friends. I'm not saying you guys have to be best friends with like each other's friends and all this. I'm not saying that. But the more you guys sync, the more this is gonna last. Because if you guys are separated but just living together, and the only thing keeping you guys together is just you guys enjoying each other at home, which pretty much that's what it is. As soon as that stops, this thing is over. Okay, as soon as the enjoyment ends, it's done. Okay, so that's the second point. Okay, families and just overall in general, try to sync as much as possible. Okay, like I said, keep certain expectations in check. Yeah, you don't need to be attached at the hip 24/7. Okay, it's not like every time one leaves the house, the other one's got to go. It's not like that. But there's no shame in being unified. Okay. If you, like, this includes like, if you guys like start some business together, or you guys choose to go to the gym together, whatever you guys want to do, doing, your personal things, like going, like I live in South Florida. Like if you go out, if you want to go to the beach, or you guys want to go on like something else, there's no shame in doing it together. Okay. But that point kind of ties in from the second point I said, which is getting to really just know each other's family. The family is the start, and then the lifestyle, I think, kind of is after effect. Third point, definitely going to be a little controversial point, but it wouldn't be a proper video if I didn't bring this up. That is, the earlier the better. Okay, all right. So there's an indirect point to this and a direct point to this. The direct point is, the earlier you find someone, okay, throughout your life, you start forming all these expectations, and your ego develops and all this. So the earlier you find someone before all this starts, before your mind wants all these things, the better it is. Okay, for example, in high school I wanted certain things. In college I want even certain more things, and after I want even more things. If I don't find someone by, let's just say after 30, I'm gonna want even more things. Okay, I'm gonna want like $1 million a year, all this stuff, right? The list keeps growing as you get older. It is already hard enough to, sustain a marriage or something like this. Okay, it's already hard enough to fight the ego. Okay, kind of lock on to someone. So the earlier you lock on, in my opinion, I would say that's better. Okay, now, like I said, the first two reasons are also important. Okay, like it's got to be someone that you're picking for the right reasons. It can't just be someone who like, you guys are in high school and your hormones are going crazy and you're just physically, lusting after each other. That's, in my opinion, not the best reason to get together. But like I said, in general, the earlier the better. Now you could say, oh, you don't know what you truly want until you're older and things like that. I have a little bit of something to say about that. One, if you're watching this video yourself and you're young, you probably do know what you want a little bit. Like, you do know what you want, you just don't know how to, you just don't have the strength to pick it, okay, and like go against what everyone else is doing. Okay, like if everyone else is just doing all this crazy stuff and then you're not, just doing something. Okay, this is why, like, like doing anything like that stems from religious virtues and stuff like that is kind of deemed as like uncool, or like, you're even like cast aside or something like that, because like everyone else is doing the opposite. Okay, but like I said, it's not that the young don't know what they're doing. It's, I think deep down a lot of them do. A lot of them. Now, I'm not saying everyone. Like, obviously people mature over time, but if you do have the awareness and stuff to know what to do and know what you really, really want and things like that, make sure you put all that other ego bullshit that is trying to tempt you to the side and really just pick whatever you need to. Okay, that's what I would recommend. Secondly, okay, before I get to the second point, I want to tie into the first point. If you are not young, but you know someone that's young, it's important that you guide them, okay, and tell them these kind of things, okay, because right now, as they get older, the main things that are guiding them are social media and their friends who probably don't know any better themselves, okay, so, and they might not, their parents or siblings or something like that might not, you could be their parent or sibling or cousin or something, or uncle, aunt, whatever, but you don't know if they have that proper guidance. So it's important that you step in there, okay? There's no shame in, stepping, but now don't do this out of a place of ego and pride, okay? Or out of a place of like trauma, like, like ungrounded trauma where, something happened to me and now it can't happen to you and all, like that kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm just going to leave it at that. The indirect point to the third point, which the third point was the earlier the better. So the indirect point of that is that most likely the later you go in life, you've probably been through some relationships, okay? Especially after you turn like 30, 35, etc. If you're in this boat, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You start to form some mental and spiritual habits and patterns that are not in regards to the first 2 points that I mentioned earlier in this video. And I'm going to make another video on this later, but like breaking out of spiritual and mental habits. But spiritual and mental habits are very, very hard to break, especially when it comes into terms with relations, right? This is why like certain people, they're really shy in person, but they're really, energetic over text or something like that. It's because, like, for the most people, okay, I'm not saying for everyone, but for the most people, it's because they formed that habit from a young age of kind of reserving themselves, but that energy to express themselves or act a certain way was there. However, they never break out of that pattern, and texting or something is a great way to, express themselves in that regard. Now, so back to the other thing. So in relationships, after you get older, most likely, if you've been through a few and all this kind of stuff, you probably weren't picking the most spiritual people. And I know, okay, there's an argument of, oh, I didn't find anyone that's spiritual. That's a conversation for another time. But the spiritual people were probably not picked. Which in turn means that someone wasn't accepting someone. Okay. And you could have had an acceptance mindset, but if you're not picking spiritual people and their vibe is a little bit lower, your vibe also decreases to kind of compensate and overattach and get that. Like, this is a big mess. But basically, there's certain mental and spiritual patterns that were formed that were not conducive to being able to hold a healthy spiritual relationship at a later time. And you guys probably weren't, I'm just saying probably, were not, treating each other's family like your family. So, like I said, with the person who's really shy in person and, really expressive over text, if you find someone else, most likely you're not used to treating each other's family like your family. So that mental pattern has a higher chance of staying, which, like I said, that's opposite of the second point. So that will lower your chances. Okay. But these are just 3 points I wanted to share. And so, yeah, if you can do anything about these points personally yourself, please feel free. Like I said, as far as breaking out of mental and spiritual patterns, because some of you guys might be older or something like that, I'm going to make another video on that soon. Okay. Lastly, and very, very, very important, is that if you know someone younger than you, and let's just say things have not worked out in your favor, but if you have someone younger than you, this could be family, not family, whatever, please, please, please instill in them these values, okay? Because you don't know who's guiding them and who's telling them to do certain things, okay? I'm gonna leave it at that. I was gonna give a couple personal examples of where I saw the opposite happen and was very saddened, but I'm not. So that's the end of this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know. And until next time, I'll talk to everyone later. Thank you very much for watching.